So today is going to be a little bit different. Buckle up. Today we're going to rant. So today, let's talk about the ITC. Now, I'm sure your area is going to be the same as mine, but as of now, anytime that you go to an ITC event, all of your boys are going to have to be on a 32mm base. If they're not, I'm sorry about your luck, stay home. Now, this is rather upsetting to me. Now, I know that there's been other armies that have had to do the same thing in the past. It's been brought to my attention through many messages and private messages and public that Demon players had to do this and Marines had to do this in 7th. But you know what? They generally, maybe not Demons, but generally speaking, they don't have to do 200 or more bases just to have the option to enter your glorious little event. Now, I'm not the most competitive player out there. If you watched any of my videos, you're going to know this. But having the option taken away to not be able to attend these events is what really has me upset with this. Now, I know I'm sure the comments are going to be coming down there. You could just get base extenders, or you just suck it up and buy 32mm bases. But why should we have to do this? GW themselves have said that whatever you're supplied with, you're allowed to use. Now, I know that the ITC is its own thing. It is separate from GW. But why do they not take on what GW has said? Now, I spoke with them, with GW on the phone. And what they had said was, in any of their kind of stuff, they still have people playing on square bases. It doesn't really matter. Now, that is, again, in a GW store, of course, but there isn't one in my area. I have to go for one heck of a drive to another city to even go into a GW store. So for me, it doesn't really work. And everywhere around here, for the most part anyways, whenever they do events, it's all ITC. So that excludes me and any other orc player from going, unless we want to dump a whole pile of money into a whole pile of bases. And I am not interested in doing that one bit. I did the price check there just on the GW site to see if I wanted to take a certain type of list here. I'm going to need 232mm bases. That's 104 Canadian dollars plus tax, plus the work, plus possibly damaging your models, taking off the old bases if you want to do it properly. It is so much work, time, effort, and cost for that matter. We were talking about over $100. Well, what else could I get on the GW site for $100? Well, probably about 3/4 of anything in the orc range I could go and pick up. Or I could go and spend this kind of money on some bases and put hours upon hours upon hours and damaged models and rebasing and fixing paint jobs just so that we can go. So as an orc player, this isn't cool. Now, the big thing that they kept on mentioning to me, and by they I mean just a bunch of people talking about ITC when I had brought this up in a certain group. Now, a big thing is the 4 boys deep rule. If you have the, I'll put a picture up on the screen, but if you have on 25mm bases, the rule for combat is 1 inch within 1 inch. Well, you can exploit this with the 25mm by having 4 in a line. Your 3rd base is within 1 inch of your first one, and your 4th base is within 1 inch of your second one, giving 4 boys in range to attack in melee. Now, I, for one, have not done this rule because, 1, I don't play like a dick. It's that simple. Now, ITC, I'm pretty sure they could put a ruling in there that if you are using your 25mm base, then you know what? The first 2 rows count just like it would if they were on 32s. Why can't we do this rule? Now, an argument with that is for width. You know, you can get more boys going around this way, around your enemy there, to get more attacks in. Well, again, let's just not be a dick about this. I know there's so many rule lawyers out there that will just make life a pain. But as you can tell, this has me rather upset. It doesn't make sense to me that this should have to be done. So why can't we just all figure out a middle ground here where we're not expecting players that have already stuck a ton of money, time, and effort into the hobby that they love, only to be turned around by the ITC to say, nope, you don't have exactly what we say, don't bother showing up. So you know what? For me, that's probably exactly what's going to happen. I'm not going to be going to these because I do not and cannot justify spending this kind of money on bases to go and join this event. It's not going to be for me, and I'm really upset about this. I have always had fun at these events that I've gone to. It's a good time. You get a bunch of games in. You get to meet new people. You get to play armies that you don't normally get to play. But not anymore. Not at least in my area. There's not very much that's not ITC events that go on around here. So for people like me, I guess we're done. And it's unfortunate. Why can there not be some middle ground where we can all decide something simple that's not going to involve people, not just orc armies, but any other army where there's going to be a ton of work involved with this? Why can there not be some middle ground? I don't really get it. They're going against what GW themselves have said, and there's nothing that GW can do about it because they are a separate entity. They're using the Games Workshop product and changing the rules to what they see fit. So there's really not much else to this video except for this rant. I'm upset about this. I've contacted GW about this, and we're done. Unless you're wanting to really soak the time, effort, and money into redoing your entire army. For me, that's between 200 and 300 bases I need to buy. 200 for my main Green Tide list. But if I want to really run everything, I mean, I'm looking at a bit under 300 bases. And I know for some of you, it's going to be a lot more than 300, but that's where it is for me. And I cannot justify the cost or effort into doing this. I'm upset. This is not okay, but it is what it is. So when it comes to any more ITC events, you're not going to be seeing my WA in the list. And that really sucks. That's it for today. Sorry about the rant, but I had to get this off my chest. It's upsetting. And I'm sure that a lot of other orc players are also going to be upset too if they have ever been to an ITC event or if they ever planned on going to an ITC event. If you show up to your first one and you have not switched over your bases, you're likely going to be turned away and said, see you later. So when it comes to this topic, I'm done. I'm open to talking about it down in the comments, absolutely. But I'm just done, and I don't know what else to say about this. So I'll see you guys in the next video, if you're still around after this rant.